Hey, what is up guys? GuitarRock here, welcome back to another Brown Dust 2 video. Now I know a lot of you guys are probably wondering, hey GuitarRock, where is the Brown Dust 2 videos? Where is the comparison between this girl right here, that I already forget the name, versus Latrice? So hopefully in this video we can I can give you guys a little bit of context regarding Aris. I believe her name, right? I'm so confused. Yeah, Aris is going to be something that you know, a lot of people are still deciding if they want to pull for her or trying to like pull more copies, right? So hopefully I will be able to showcase to you guys a comparison right here. So it's going to be a little bit of a hard comparison because I don't really have both characters maxed out or both costumes maxed out. The problem is the potential liberation is so expensive, right? I'm sure you guys are aware. If you want to max out the potential liberation thing, it takes so much, right? You can see right here, trying to get all of the notes is super expensive. Like, I don't even have the resources, and you can't even like, I don't think there's a package for that even, right? You can't even whale for that. So let's just talk a little bit, alright, and compare the two strongest characters. I'll try to compare her to Latrice, alright? So Latrice, if you guys are not aware, is this girl right here, okay? So why am I comparing her with Latrice? So number one, they are both physical damage dealers, right? So physical damage dealers, ideally you want to compare them together with other physical damage dealers because they are like, they fulfill the same role when you use a supporter that buffs physical damage like ERIS. So ideally you are putting them in the same team. You can use them together for sure, but ideally it's just to give you guys a context or an idea of how strong you know, they are compared to each other. Number two is also they are both fire type, alright, same element. So I do think that the comparison is going to be as fair as it gets. Now Latrice, this particular costume is one of the strongest costume in the game, alright. So if you guys are not aware, 3x3 tile, 3 costs, and it just does so much, alright. It just does so much. At +4 currently, +5 is going to improve the damage, but ideally we're looking at this particular one, which is 450%, alright. And of course, currently this particular costume, I have this at max potential liberation. Again, just want to give you guys a context. I'll show you guys all the differences later on, but we're gonna use the same gear. Alright, so first let's talk about the gear. So this is what I have on Latrice. So I'm gonna take out the exclusive gear that I have on Latrice, so we get a much more fair comparison. I'm gonna show you guys the substats right here. Going to be somewhat of a believable substats so that you guys will be able to get an idea, right? So number one, I'm not using like the best gears that I have. I'm using like somewhat of a decent gears, but not the best one that I have. You can see this is Evil Dragon's Blade 3. The substat here is like whatever, right? Attack percent here, crit rate percent. This one just sucks, alright, I get it. Now this one, Golden Armor 3, I got crit damage percent, crit rate percent. This one is pretty good, right? And then we got the helmet, Undefeated Glory 3, crit damage percent, attack flat. Okay, not the best, but still pretty decent. This one, Venomous Touch 3, again, crit damage percent. So trying to get as much crit damage percent as we can. And then Rebellion 3, we got crit damage percent and crit rate percent. So it doesn't matter per se how the gears are because we're going to use the same gear, right? So let's compare the costumes. So we're going to go in with all Latrice costumes just to be fair, right? We're trying to get these I want you guys to be able to see the differences. If there's any, right, or who is stronger, etc. So we're gonna go into the last night challenge and hopefully showcase the damage right here. Now because Aris has one costume that requires her to not stack the chain or whatever, so we're gonna try to take advantage of that. So we're gonna have Rule buff the crit rate percent, and then you know, Helena buff crit rate percent, this one buff attack percent, buff, and then we're gonna put in the characters right here. Alright, so I'm going to put in the Latrice, alright, just to show you guys right here. Ideally we are trying to compare the mid Latrice the most, alright. That's going to be the determining factor right here. Hopefully you guys can see what I'm trying to do, right? So I don't want to put them at the end because it's not going to be a fair comparison, because Aris is going to need she does more damage when she is she's able to do the less than 7 chain, right? So let's jump into this just to show you guys that it's going to be less than 7 chain. I want you guys to be able to see, right? So you guys can probably tell from this particular battle. Okay, so that's a buff. Okay, buff, and then Latrice is gonna go in. Boom. So that's the first hit. Okay. So we got about 500k, right? So I'm gonna try to gather a few sample size. Hopefully we get a consistent damage, and then I'm gonna show you guys the damage afterwards. Just to make sure that the damage is gonna be consistent, because like sometimes we don't crit or something. So 567 right here. So I'm gonna highlight, circle it so you guys can see 567, 533. So this is the 2 LIATRIS right there. So I'm gonna retry again and see if it's consistent or not. If it's consistent, then we can proceed with comparing to Roxy. I mean not Roxy. Why did I say Roxy? Aris. That's the whole point here. So let's see. Is this going to be the same? 567, 533. Okay. As you can see, right? This is clearly a different one. Nightmare Bunny Eclipse somehow crit that time. Very interesting. But yeah, still compared to Angelica, Angelica just destroys everyone. So anyways, as you can see, so that's the damage for LIATRIS right here. So now I'm going to swap the gears, put it over to Roxy. Aris, I don't know why I keep saying Roxy. Aris, and compare it. Again, just to show you guys that we have the same gears. So I'm trying to make this as fair as possible. So yeah, compared to earlier, we literally have the same gears. So you guys can see crit damage, crit damage percent, right? It's the same gear with LIATRIS. So again, still not gonna be super fair, because right now, LIATRIS was +4, right? That particular maid costume. But this is going to be Roxy's one. Currently, I only have +1. Alright? But again, we can roughly calculate from there, because we can calculate based on the percentage, and then we try to multiply from there. I'm going to tell you guys what's the plan later on. But for now, let's jump into this. And we see the damage right here first. And then we're going to compare. So I'm trying to put this Roxy first, this particular costume, the Esteemed Adventurer, because this particular one, as you can see, if this attack results in a chain of 7 or fewer stacks, alright, it's going to do more damage. So we are getting the benefit from this particular character for Aris right here, right? So the cat girl, this one is going to apply the incoming physical damage, alright? But I think the boss can't be debuffed anyway, so it doesn't really matter for this particular boss. This is the last night boss, so let's go. Okay, so we have the results, and I'm happy to say the results is somewhat within my expectation. Where is it? You guys can see right here. The Esteemed Adventurer Aris did 644,000. Alright, so this is going to be how it is. Boom. Boom. Okay. So do keep in mind that we do have the bonus right here, because we didn't stack the chain. If you guys are not aware, the Esteemed Adventurer Aris, right? She has, if the stack of the chain is 7 or less, she will do bonus damage. Whereas Latrice here doesn't get the bonus damage. So I do think that Latrice will do more. Alright, this is Latrice damage based upon, let me exit this so I can explain to you guys what's happening, right? Boom. So Latrice damage is based upon her damage without the bonuses. Alright, so what do I mean by that is, if you guys are not aware, this is going to be this one, right? 450%. So if there's DOT, if enemy is in continuous damage, then she will apply 650% instead. So this is based upon 450%. Alright. But I cannot show you the DOT damage, because that boss that we fight, the last night boss, cannot you cannot debuff the boss. You cannot apply DOT to the boss, which is a little bit unfortunate. I would love to show you guys right there. So, which makes testing a little bit hard, right? But you can sort of see that the damage difference is not going to be... I still think it's going to be slightly in Latrice's favor. I understand at the same time, my Aris right here, she's not max, she's currently at +1, alright? Just to show you guys again the costume. Currently this particular the cat girl I have at +2, but this one I have at +1, right? So if you can see at +2, it's going to increase the damage even more, alright? To 675, 825, all the way to 900 if you can +5. Now if we are comparing the max version, I'm gonna say it's going to be about the same. Alright, I would say like it's going to be about the same. Maybe Aris would do a little bit more, perhaps in the long run. But here's one thing that you guys also need to take into consideration, right? Something that I never talk about. Exclusive weapon, alright? So Latrice is a standard character. That means she will always be there. That means it's going to be very, very easy to get her exclusive weapon. Which I believe, I do have one right here, which is going to be pretty good. I have one right here. I have multiple actually. I got multiple of hers. This is going to be her one. So this one is going to have a very, very good substat right here. You can see crit damage and, you know, a bunch of pretty good stats, right? With the exclusive weapon, exclusive gear, you do get some bonus stats. Something to keep in mind, right? So if you are getting, what's her name, Aris, sure, I can see if you get exclusive weapon as well, take into consideration this as well, maybe they're gonna do about the same damage, I would say, alright? So, again, is Aris bad? No, she's not bad, right? She can compete with Latrice, pretty much. If you look at this damage right here, yeah, she can pretty much compete with Latrice. But because she's limited and because you need to pull for her weapon as well to get her best potential, that is just so much cost, so expensive, right? Compared to Latrice, where you just like, it's so easy to get her to max. You know, you can just go here, just get one copy of her, and then every single month, right, what you want to do is go to the Golden Thread shop. Is it Golden Thread shop? Buy the this one, right? Golden Thread shop, buy this one, selective enhancement, and just pick Latrice. Hopefully get her up, right? 2+5 easily. Just get, you can do that over a couple of months. But for Aris, it's so expensive. You gotta do it right now. Right now. So I would say the damage is pretty much very, very close. Okay? So in case you guys are wondering. Now, this particular Your Very Own Cat Aris, this costume, it doesn't do that much damage, you can see. 209,000. So if you are looking for damage, this is going to be the one to go for. This one is more for the debuff, alright? Again, I can't show in this particular Last Night boss because the boss can't be debuffed, right? Something to keep in mind. So yeah, there's that as well. Now here's the thing though. Should you pull for Aris multiple copies? Do you want to +5 her? Now that's up to you, alright? With the collab characters, there's a couple of downsides to them. Number one is there probably won't be any more costumes added later on. Alright? So Latrice currently, she is a permanent character. So that means there's a chance in the future they probably could add more costumes. Alright, right now we have 3 costumes for Latrice. Maybe there could be a 4th costume or a 5th costume down the line. We never know. Alright, it's hard to say for sure. But for a collab character, that will never happen. Alright, they can never add a costume halfway. Once the collab is over, it's done, right? Which makes it very, very expensive to pull. Now, if you are really looking to invest in like a strong character, probably the upcoming swimsuit characters are going to be better, even though those are limited, but at least you get to invest in the character that they can add more costumes eventually. Because of how Brown Dance 2 works, when you add more costumes for a character, they pretty much get a skill, right? Like each costume is like a one skill in its own. Some characters that weren't meta before, for example, who was it? Yeah, a good example would be Eclipse, right? I'm sure you guys are aware. Eclipse wasn't super meta before. Before this, she only got this costume, right? Once she got the Bunny Eclipse costume, she becomes a meta. So some character, you know, once they add a costume or they add more costume comes in, it just makes them way stronger. So overall, Aris is not bad. Alright, again, not saying that she's bad. She's just a bit expensive to invest in, right? Considering that Latrice can almost perform similar to her, if not outperform her. Again, it's very, very hard to test at their max potential. Like I'm not a whale, so I don't got both maxed out. But considering if you are going for everything maxed out, alright, if you have like Aris maxed out, you got like +5 everything, and then you even got the exclusive equipment, exclusive gears. I'm guessing she might be able to do slightly more than Latrice. I don't think it's going to be a lot more based on what I'm seeing here. I think it's just going to be slightly more. And then the condition is going to be 7 chain as well. Also, one thing to note, right, is the range, right? So this is also something that I want you guys to take note of. Very, very important. So if you take into consideration the amount of tiles that your character can hit, right? Like, again, this depends on the boss, right? This depends on the enemy. So if an enemy, you're able to hit all this range, 3 by 3 tile, and you can multiply this by 9, right? You're pretty much going to take this number and then times 9. Because you're going to hit 9 tile. Because the boss that we fought earlier, the last night boss, is only 1 tile. So you only hit it 1 time. But if you fight in a Fiend Hunter, it's going to be times 9. Whereas for the Esteemed Adventurer, this one is going to be times 6. Because of the maximum amount of tiles, right? So in the end, again, depending on the boss, right? If you can hit more tiles, this one is going to outperform Aris easily, right? Even if Aris do more, has a higher multiplier, and I get it, right? If you can't just look at multiplier. Don't just look at the numbers. Look at the number of tiles as well, because this can be very, very important, especially depending on the enemy and depending on the PvE content that you're trying to do. All right, especially in tower and those scenarios that I mentioned. So right now I have this costume at +1, right? So +1. And I got this 600% multiplier. And that is going to give me 644k attack. So very easy to calculate this, right? So 644k, 600% attack. So I want to imagine how much damage can I get at +5. I just need to go all the way to +5. So the multiplier is going to be 900% of attack. All right. So I can just, put it in an equation. Boom, boom, boom. Simple maths equation. So how much damage is this? This is going to give me, calculator, about 966k of attack. Alright, 966k. So is this good or is this bad? How accurate is this in line with LIATRIS one, right? So LIATRIS one, again, same concept. Again, keep in mind, this is the damage without the DOT requirements. Alright, so again, I'm going to try to calculate LIATRIS one based on this, and then we can easily calculate 567k. Alright, again, boom, is based on LIATRIS without the DOT, right? And that without the DOT is going to be, how much is that? So just give you guys a little bit of rough idea, right? Get here. So 450% attack. So 450% of attack. So let's assume in the scenario where she does apply DOT. So we're gonna go +5. It's gonna be 700% attack. Alright, so 700% attack. How much is that? How much is that? So this, try and calculate a little bit. 882k. Ooh. So you can see this one and this one, it's not that far off. It's not that far off. 882k, 966k. Again, assuming, alright, you have the same gears. Now, if you have LIATRIS exclusive gear, but you don't have Aris exclusive gear, there's a chance that the gap minimizes. And again, want you guys to keep in mind, this is a one character right here, right? LIATRIS can hit more tiles. It's a 3 by 3 tile versus a 3 by 2 minus 1 tile. So, hopefully you guys get an idea, right? In a damage estimation, hopefully you guys get like a better idea overall. But overall, not bad. Alright, Aris is not bad. If you're looking for a better one, the higher damage one is going to be Esteemed Adventurer Aris. Does a lot of damage. Extremely strong. Just make sure to meet the condition if the attack results in a chain of 7 or fewer stacks. So you can perhaps go with Zenith. I believe Zenith is going to be a Is it a 5 attack or something? Let me check. Let me double check just in case. Zenith is attack 6 times, right? So you use Zenith first, and then you use her after. So you just got like just enough to not go above the 7 chain, because once you go 7 chain, then it doesn't do this high multiplier anymore, right? So which is what you are trying to achieve. Chain of 7 or fewer stacks. Yep. So she's going to be the 7th one. Yeah, I think that's going to be the strat pretty much, right? For the upcoming boss. Alright. So that's gonna be it, pretty much it for the testing. I hope you guys find this informative. You know, it surprises me as well, pretty much. And if you're looking to max her out, just know that she's still going to be pretty strong, alright? I don't think she's a bad choice. She's a bad choice for free-to-play, right? But if you are not free-to-play, I guess she's a decent choice. But it's just, mid Latrice exists. There's that, alright? So with that being said, that's gonna be it for this particular video. I'm definitely going to make a comparison between, now that we know, you know, how strong she is, how strong Roxy is. I'm going to give my final thoughts between these two, and if you guys plan to go all in, I'll have that video out for you guys soon. Alright, so take care, subscribe if you guys haven't already, give this video a like. I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a nice day. Goodbye.